you start with your lighter color first. So we're going to be mixing two colors. And with tints, what color are we going to work with? White, and then the color that you've chosen, right? Okay, so I am going to do this. Now, when we do this, boys and girls, we want our color to be lighter. And so we're going to use white to start with. We'll put our brush in the white. And then just a tiny bit of your color. When I say tiny bit, I mean a small, small amount, because we want our color to be very light, but we're going to add a little bit more color as we go so that it's lighter than the regular color we've already painted, and it's somewhere between white and that color. So let's watch. I've got my white on here now, and I'm going to put a little bit of purple on there. And notice that's a very small amount, isn't it?
Hold it right there. Hold it, hold it, hold it.
What we're going to do is we're going to look at our painting and notice all the new shapes that we've created with the overlapping of the other shapes that I had you draw. So over here we have our semicircle, but then I've got this piece right here that's in the center of it where it overlaps my quadrangle. So I'm going to want to put tints in half of these and shades in half of them. And I also want them to be kind of stand out one from another. So I'm going to make about every other one a tint. And so I think I want this one to be a shade over here. So I'm going to put a tint right here in this rectangle. Now notice when I put this in here, how light that purple is. That you have right before you a tint of purple. So with me now, put a very small amount of your color on there with the white and start painting your shapes inside. Do about half of them. Leave spaces for other color, for the tints though when we get there. Notice the difference? And you know you're right if the color that you're painting now is lighter than the one that's surrounding all of those shapes. Now, guess what? We're going to fill in the remainder of these with what? Shades, exactly. And how do we make our shade? We add what to our color? Black. Oh, good job. You guys knew that already, didn't you? Okay, now, this time we're going to start with the lighter color. Do we start with black? No, because that's the darker one, isn't it? And I have to tell you, boys and girls, the black paint that we use, you notice how little we have on there? We're talking about a very, very small amount, aren't we? Okay, this is very powerful paint, and it will color anything black very quickly if we use too much of it. So this time, after we've washed our brushes, we're going to put lots of our color on there. Now fill in the rest of your paper now with the, what do we call this? Is it a tint or a shade now? Shade. Shade, a shade of our color. Boys and girls, some of you are noticing that when you put even just a tiny bit of black, it makes the color look, the shade looks black on your paper. When this dries, it's going to lighten up just a little bit where the blue does show through. So check out your work. Any finishing touches you'd like to make, it's okay. But if you've totally finished, now is the time to clean your brush, please. So if you would put it back in that water and scrub the bottom of the cup, get all that color out. This time, I would like you to use your thumb and forefinger. That's this and this. Once you've got your water out of there, and just squeeze gently on the bristles. I want to compliment you on what a good job you've done with this. This is not easy. You're using big brushes and a new technique, and so it's hard sometimes to get in those little corners. It's hard to judge how much paint to use and so on, but we're learning, aren't we? And so today, the things that we have learned are, who can tell me? What are some of the things that we've learned today? Natalie?
Shade and tint.
Shades and tints, okay. What does a tint have in it? What special color? Yes. Serena?
White.
How many agree with that? Everybody does. That's great. Absolutely. And so what's the other color?
Black.
Black. Okay. And that creates a?
Shade.
Shade. Your pictures now are still wet, aren't they? And so we can't do much with them. But we want to honor your pictures by mounting them on a black frame. So, for example, with Allison's picture right here, when it dries, notice I'm only touching the kind of dry part right now, we're going to put it on a piece of black paper like this so it's nicely mounted, and that gives your picture a really nice frame so that later on, when the house comes, we can put those up all across the board and show your work where we have, again, studied the value of color using shades, good, and we've also worked with our prefixes, mono, tri,
Quad. Semi.
and a new word for us today is?
Monochromatic.
Exactly. Okay, now boys and girls, something else we've done today is we've created our first what kind of painting like Picasso did? It's a, everybody?
Monochromatic.
Oh, good. Let's try that again. It's a what kind of painting? It's a?
Monochromatic.
And that means how many? One color. You guys are right on with me. All right. We have worked with number prefixes like mono, tri, quad, and semi to remember or to review the things that we've learned already. We've practiced those prefixes. We've worked with values of color, which are shades and tints, and we have worked with all these different shapes that you've learned before. You've done a very, very nice job.
For a lesson plan and a list of today's supplies, or to see this episode of Art Is online, go to kvpt.org and click on Art Is.
Art Is was made possible by a grant from the Bonner Family Foundation in support of the arts and education.